wandering the edges of myself, tracing the outlines of every memory I tried to hide. There's a silence between streetlights that feels like it knows me, like it hums the same old ache that sleeps behind my ribs. The world outside keeps breathing, but I'm stuck in the place where the light refuses to follow. I keep hearing echoes of promises I never learned to keep, echoes of people who walk through me like passing storms, leaving muddy footprints in the places I once called home. And I wonder if healing is supposed to sound this lonely, if it's normal to feel your own heartbeat like a stranger's knock on a door you're afraid to open. I keep trying to unwrite the things that broke me, undo the moments that learned how to stay. But every time I move forward, the past reminds me that pain doesn't disappear, it just memorizes your steps. This is where the hurt learned my name, where the shadows rehearse their lives in my chest, where the tears I never cried became rivers under my skin, where the pieces of me I lost still call out at night. I walk, I fall, I rise, I break, but somehow I still breathe through the ruins. If this is what becoming means, then let me keep walking, even with trembling feet, through the place where the hurt learned my name. I used to fear silence, now it feels like the only friend that stays. It wraps around me like a thin blanket on a cold floor, not warm enough, but familiar enough to keep me alive. I learned to talk to myself in ways no one else could hear, whispering courage into the cracks that felt permanent. And in the middle of the quiet, I found versions of me I thought were gone, the child who still believed in magic, the teenager who hid his dreams behind shaking hands, the adult who keeps pretending he's fine. They sit with me sometimes, all of them, in a room full of unspoken fears that somehow feels less frightening when we share it. And the truth is, healing doesn't look like sunlight all the time. Sometimes it's crawling through the dark with only the sound of your breath to guide you. Sometimes it's forgiving yourself for the battles you lost before you learned how to fight. I try to stitch the broken parts back together, threading old hope through new wounds. But nothing fits the way it used to. Maybe that's the point. Maybe we aren't meant to return to the person we were before the storm. This is where the hurt learned my name, where the wind carried pieces of my truth away, where lonely nights taught me how to stand again, even when my knees forgot what strength felt like. Every scar that lives on my skin is a chapter I survived. If this is what growing feels like, then let me keep walking through the place where the hurt learned my name.